All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Check out Pig and a Pickle, 2 locations. They're in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open in Marin County every day from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., and they're open in Emeryville Wednesday through Sunday. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Well, the Niner rookie minicamp came and went, and, the most important detail, the most interesting revelation, the biggest takeaway from minicamp really didn't have to do with any of the rookies. It had to do with Drake Jackson, the 49ers second-year defensive end. And we're going to talk about Drake here in a minute, but it started when Steve Wilkes talked to us. He said, Drake's been here all spring working out, doing the things that he needs to do to improve his game. He's gained a lot of weight. And there's no question that Drake Jackson flashed a ton of potential during his rookie year, but he was a healthy scratch in 5 of his last 6 games, didn't have a sack after mid-October. The Niners obviously have Nick Bosa on the other side, so he's going to draw all kinds of attention. They've bolstered their inside rush with Javon Hargrave. You still got Eric Armstead, so you've got a line that, guys would be dying to play in this spot on this line opposite Bosa, alongside Hargrave and Armstead. And now it's just a matter of who's it going to be. And the Niners, obviously lost Samson Ebukam. They lost Jordan Willis. They lost Charles Omenihu. All 3 of those guys took off in free agency. And when they walked out the door, roughly 700 snaps followed them out. Now the Niners have brought in a pair of free agents. Cleveland Farrell comes in from the Raiders. Austin Bryant comes in from the Lions. And then they did use a 5th-round pick on a edge rusher, Robert Beal, the speed rusher from Georgia. So those 3 guys come in. Ebukam, Willis, and Omenihu go out. But the key guy who stays is Drake Jackson. And he's got the ability, and the Niners believe he's got the ability to be the starter opposite Nick Bosa. And according to the people that have been around the Niners this offseason, Drake Jackson has stood out in the weight room. And he looks noticeably different and a lot more powerful. And in the team's drills that the team's been running early in the offseason program, you can see that strength and that power. Wilkes was asked about what Drake looked like on film to him when he watched him from his rookie year. And, Steve said, hey, I saw a lot of inconsistency. And there was a lot of inconsistency. He said, I saw a lot of talent, a lot of skill set, but someone that needs to get a little stronger and get a little bigger. And he's working hard, so I'm looking forward to him once again taking that sophomore leap. So, I think that was kind of the consensus on Drake Jackson coming out of USC. Let's talk about Jackson for a minute as a prospect, because he's an interesting guy. By the way, his father, when at birth, wanted the doctors in the hospital to put on his birth certificate, Drake Jackson from the University of Southern California, starting linebacker coming in at 260 pounds. He wanted that on Drake's birth certificate. And sure enough, Drake made that dream a reality, right? He was a superstar player at Centennial High School down in Southern California in Corona. And then he enrolled early at SC. He was a freshman All-American in 2019, started 11 games at defensive end as a freshman. 5.5 sacks that year. So then he earned a second-team All-Pac-12 honors that season as an outside linebacker, or I should say the next season in 2020. And then in 2021, he had 37 tackles, 8 for loss, and he had a career-high 5 sacks, 1 interception in 11 games. 10 of them were starts. So, everybody has always loved Jackson's ability and his upside. Why is that? Because he's an athletic kid. He's got, long strider. He's got quickness. He's got long arms. He's got great bend, great ankle flexibility. This guy's got talent to flatten to the quarterback and sack the quarterback. He plays low. He accelerates through contact. He's got some looseness in his upper body. He can slide through cracks. He's there's a lot to like. The motor's revving. Super athletic. He has some natural gifts for the position, but I think everybody who watched him at SC thought the same thing. His weight fluctuated at USC. Sometimes he was heavier, sometimes he was lighter. Coming out, 250, 260, that's not big or strong enough to be what he needs to be. Now, at the same time, he needs it to be good weight. right? Because you got to have, and it sounds like he's kind of repositioning his weight. And I don't know what he's weighing, but if he's in that 270, 275 range with a lot more upper body strength, what all really Drake needs to work on is getting a little bit stronger and develop some counters. That's it. He develops some counter moves and gets a little bit stronger. He's already got natural gifts. He comes flying off the ball. He's got great balance. He can bat down passes. He demonstrated that last year, but he lacks some physical point of attack against the run. Don't get kicked out. He don't lean on arm tackling. He lacks a little functional strength against the run, and yet I thought rookie year he did excellent, showing strength when they used that 4 defensive end alignment and they had a Menahue and Drake inside, and they would loop these guys in and out. I thought he was tremendously effective in that, but he definitely needed to get stronger. I mean, if you look at the upper body of an Menahue or most specifically Samson Ebukam, and then you look at Drake, it was night and day. So Drake, the nice thing about Drake was he had all these gifts that you can't teach, and all he really needs is to work on some counters and get stronger in the upper body. And most young kids do get stronger in the upper body over time. And it was, to me, the best news of the entire mini camp was that he has been there the entire time working on his strength, and he's put on a lot of weight in the upper body. That's great. That's a great sign. I expect Jackson to be the bust out guy. And, you're talking about an athlete who had, who can do backflips, who's got a 36.5-inch vertical at 6'3", 255 or 265. I mean, we're talking about a guy who literally can stand 34-inch arms, 10 and an eighth-inch hands, and he can do backflips. So he's a great natural athlete. It's just about honing it, working on some counter moves, working on your get-offs, and getting stronger in the upper body. And it sounds like Drake is going to show up in camp, checking all of those boxes off. So what's the biggest takeaway of 49er minicamp? Well, we could get into a bunch of different things for sure. But the fact of the matter is that the Niners believe that Drake Jackson has the ability to be the starter opposite Nick Bosa is exactly what I needed to hear. Because I have my doubts whether Cleveland Farrell or Austin Bryant or Kerry Hyder or, Barrett, Alex Barrett, I don't think any of those guys really have starter capability on a big time line. If the 49ers are going to have a tremendous line, they need Jackson to fulfill his potential. And to hear that he's been in the facility the entire offseason, awesome. Knowing what that means, that he's working on his technique, that he's working on his get-offs, that he's working on his body. Those are the things he needs to work on. Develop a counter, work on your body, work on getting off the football. And if you can put on 10 pounds of upper body, good weight in that upper body, so you have the ability to stand in stronger against the run and set the edge a little better and not get kicked out. That's it. That's the final frontier for Drake Jackson. He gets there with his motor, his natural pass rush ability, his natural bend and flexibility. Drake Jackson's going to be a house on fire, absolute house on fire. So far and away, the biggest takeaway. We can talk about the rookies all day. We can talk about this guy looked good, that guy looked bad, this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. The most important data that came out of Niner rookie minicamp is that Drake Jackson has been in the facility the entire time. He looks great. He's putting on upper body strength. He's working on his game, and the Niners believe he's got starter potential opposite Nick Bosa. That is a story in and of itself, and in my opinion, the biggest story coming out of Niner minicamp. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. Check out Pig in a Pickle, great barbecue spot, Emeryville, Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in Marin. And thanks to all of you for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.